Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be breaking down a Pep Guardiola 4-3-3 sort of possession come Tiki Taka tactic. I've had a lot of fun using it. I've tested it with two teams that Pep have managed before. I feel like we've done Jurgen Klopp, we've got to do Pep. You know, obviously, in my opinion, the second best manager, but still a great manager, no doubt, by any means. But before we get into the video, guys, please drop a like on the video. Be sure to comment below any other managers you want to see me replicate, and also drop a subscription to the channel and turn on notifications. But let's get into the tactic. So the first team we tested it with was with Pep's previous team, Bayern Munich. Now, as I always say at the start of these videos, I do test with the teams that they've managed previously. This occasion, I didn't decide to do Barcelona, decided to do Bayern Munich and Man City. And honestly, although you're expected to, we absolutely dominated this league. We really did. 89 points coming up here. You're talking 84 goals for the best scored, 17 for best conceded. Best for red cards getting 0, and the 6th best for yellow cards. But we also managed to win the Pokal and also the Super Cup. So in our first season, we managed to win the treble, which is, you know, a very good achievement. One thing I do notice about Bayern's squad, as well on Football Manager, if you use the up-to-date database, we did have Sadio Mane, but their squad size is really small. So we did pick up a few injuries in there as well. So no doubt if you guys do play this yourself and you were to use Bayern, if you made some signings, the sort of depth going into the Champions League could have been the factor. But overall, a very, very dominating season, and something which, you know, is expected with Bayern. But at the end of the day, I like using the team which she has managed because I feel like it's easier to explain the game style, and also, you know, it sort of replicates it. But if we go into the squad stats then, so we're talking 49 goals for Lewandowski, obviously a player which is heavily linked to Barcelona in real life. We've got Musiala with 23. Then it does drop off a little bit in terms of goals. But to be honest with you, the goals were there. With this tactic, I'm going to be openly honest with you guys. Obviously, Pep Guardiola he's a very sort of elegant sort of style of manager. Like, he likes to work the perfect chance, so you're not going to be hitting it from the outside of the box all the time. You're not going to be going for pop shots here and there at the end of the day, so don't expect that in this tactic. When we go to assists though, we've got 3 high assisters here. We've got Thomas Müller with 18, we've got Joshua Kimmich with 15, and 11 for Goretzka there. Then it drops to 8-8, 7-7. So to be honest with you, they are pretty much shared. Obviously, the goal scorer is the goal scorer. I mean, Lewandowski there with 49 is absolutely outrageous. An incredible amount of goals coming from him. If we look into some of the stats, I am going to be showing you a sort of different way of showing you the stats. I didn't actually know you could actually do this, but I saw it in an RDF video, shout out to him, and I really like how this shows, so I can show you the sort of average possession and everything. So if we go into the Bundesliga, go into the overview. So most points per game was us, looking at 2.62, most goals sitting 84 as we discussed. Bayern Munich there, fewest shots against, only faced at 180. Best pass completion sitting at 94% in this division, and that is honestly incredible. That's almost 100% of your passes are going to be accurate. Obviously, this tactic does offer pretty much majority short passing. Most possession, we average 65%. Now, there's not many tactics out there that can guarantee you around the 65% mark, and when you have that amount of the ball, it's only a matter of time until you do create a chance, you do score a goal at the end of the day. Fewest conceded, only conceding 17 goals, and most clean sheets, purely pretty common sense. Obviously, we don't concede many chances or goals, so 19 clean sheets. But if we go into the data hub then, we've got a quick look at the basics here. So if we go to team attacking, you're sort of like, the expected goals per game. This is not a high scoring tactic, guys. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Pep Guardiola does sort of base himself off, you know, a lot of the play is patient build-up. So games where your team are a similar level to you, you might be sort of winning the 1-0, 2-0. When you do play a weaker team, I had games in this save where you will win sort of 6 or 7. But I'd say goals per game, we did score above 2, but I would say that's fairly accurate. But you still win so many games because you get the goal, but you're so well at holding on to the ball. You do such a good job. They never even get a chance, really. I know, because you got the ball so often, it's sort of like, eventually, even if you're in one of them games where you feel like, oh, I'm not going to score, you will score. So it's just about patience. Obviously, the pass completion there, 94%. Cross completion, not the best, because, to be honest, we aren't really focusing on crossing the ball. It's not really in this sort of tactics sort of DNA. Defending, I mean, this is exceptional. We're actually expected goals under 0.5, which is very, very good. So we're expected to, you know, score above 1.5, 1.7 we're expected to score, and we're expected to concede less than a goal. So very, very good there. Not a whole lot of fouls made per game, really, compared to some of the tactics I've released. Tackles won sitting at roughly about 80%. Clearances per game sitting at around 26.76% as percent, clearances per game. So, I mean, to be honest, one thing this tactic is, and what I'm going to say is, it's a very balanced tactic in the sense of, like, it's not one of these tactics which I do make, which will sort of try and get you sort of 3+ goals a game, but it is a tactic which will dominate games, dominate the ball. So if you've got the players to do it, that have got good pass and, you know, possibly really creative players in the team, then this is definitely the tactic for you. And I really do recommend testing it out. But that is going to be it for the Bayern Munich save. Obviously a very successful save. No signings were made apart from the ones that are included in the database, which obviously was Sadio Mane. But let's hop over to the Man City save and see how we done there. Before we do get into the Man City save, though, guys, if you are enjoying it so far, be sure to leave the video a like. It means a lot. It helps the video get discovered, and it really does support the channel. And if you enjoy my content enough, be sure to subscribe as well. But let's get in to this Man City save and see how we do. Well, it's safe to say that this save went even better, to be honest. We won the Premier League quite convincingly. We also won the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield. So winning the quadruple in the first season. Obviously, again, it is a very strong team. I do know you've not got to tell me that. 83 goals scored, 17 conceded as well. So, I mean, best in both categories there. The Bookings weren't as disciplined in this save, but at the end of the day, you know, when you're pulling off a quadruple, you can never complain. And this tactic did... I watched a couple of games, and we are going to go and do some of the 2D in-game analysis and really break it down. And it does feel like you're watching a Man City team. It really does. I spent a lot of time sort of studying how Pep plays, and we are going to talk a little bit about that when we go into the 2D analysis. But if we just break down this season a little bit more. So you've got Erling Haaland there with 62 goals, which is absolutely outrageous. I don't think he'll do that well in real life. Hopefully not. Anyway, 8.8 match rating there, with the highest average rating as well. De Bruyne obviously getting most assists, when doesn't he? And overall, just a very, very convincing season. And if we go into these stats again, which I will show you, if we go into the team overview, with this one, we obviously, two teams, actually, we got joint top goal scorers of Arsenal. Most points per game sitting at 2.29, which is very good. Obviously, it's pretty much going towards 3 points every game. Best pass completion, 93%. Fewest shots against, which we pick up again. Fewest conceded, and most clean sheets, actually 26, which is absolutely insane there. And possession sitting at 62%, so slightly less, but then the Premier League is a harder division. There's a lot tougher opponents in this league, so therefore that is why it's slightly lower, being honest. Obviously, if you use this tactic in a league like Germany with the with Bayern Munich, or possibly even with Dortmund, you are going to dominate a lot more teams than what you would in the Premier League. But still, 62% is absolutely nuts. Like, you're going to be dominating a lot of games, trust me, with that amount of the ball. But have a quick look at the stats here then. So I believe that's slightly higher expected goals, but goals per game was actually sitting at above 2, which is very impressive. If we go back up on pass completion here, 93.36. So, I mean, anything above, I mean, some tactics you're looking at 80 for that, depending on how direct you play. But as I said, this is very, very short pass and based. This Tiki Taka, this patient gameplay. Going on to the defending again, a little bit worse when it comes to expected in this system, or this team, sorry. But again, still sitting under a goal. So when you're expected to score nearly double of what you're going to concede, it's pretty much a recipe for success, right? I mean, you can't really go wrong. The tackle win ratio could be slightly higher, but it's sitting at 80%, which isn't too bad. A few fouls made per game, sorry. But again, Pep is a manager. You'll see it in real life. If there is a counter-attack on, obviously he won't be at the club now, but Fernandinho was always a player that would just clip someone, take someone down, and that's not really an issue for Pep. And for me, I don't really see the issue for that in the game. I feel like it is a tactical side of the game, and I quite like it, to be honest. But overall, a very good season. So you can see here with the goal scorers, we've got Haaland with 62, Bernardo Silva with 17, Foden with 10, De Bruyne with 10, Gundogan with 8. If we go over to assists, we've got 20 for De Bruyne, 12 for Silva, 12 for Cancelo. Obviously, the fullbacks aren't, I wouldn't say they're as influential as sort of like Klopp's, but still, they play a big part in Pep's system. Haaland with 12 assists as well to go along with the 62 goals. Grealish contributing quite well there as well. And a few players sitting on 9 there with the likes of Gundogan, Foden, and Kyle Walker. But it is getting to that time now where we are going to pick out a game. We're going to go into a little bit of 2D analysis. So let's go and do that and really break down this tactic. So the game I've picked out to watch is going to be a 3-0 win at home against Tottenham in a game which we did see 61% of the ball. So just showing that against even a top team like Tottenham, you can still dominate the ball and win a game with ease, to be honest. But we're going to quickly change this to key highlights. We're going to slowly, tone it down a little bit. But let's get into it and, do some explaining. So basically with this tactic, with Pep's style of play, he is known for being probably, or I would say, the most patient sort of manager going in the Premier League. If you watch the way that they play, they don't look like they're ever in a rush. They don't look like they're ever going to panic because they know that after a while, teams are going to lose concentration because they're zipping the ball back and forth at such a rate. And there's so many players that are going out of position, in position, because this is what I want to talk about. So this is the 4-3-3, right? You got your 4, then you got your 3. Obviously, these are the 3 here. And you got Haaland, you got Bernardo, and you got Foden. But just because they're wingers, when it comes to like a Klopp tactic, which I uploaded a very good video just to shout that out quickly, but Liverpool's wingers are wingers. They stay out wide, they cause issues on the wide side. But people like in Man City's wingers, if you say wingers, they're more attacking playmakers, to be honest, because they will happily sort of drift into this area. They'll drift into this area. They'll drift in anywhere that's narrow. Because at the end of the day, this tactic isn't built around. It is a little bit of high press to win the ball back, but it is naturally quite a low tempo formation. It's sort of more of a relaxed, the opposite to Klopp in the terms of heavy metal. I'm sorry, this is about sort of maintaining the ball, keeping the ball, creating the perfect chance, and that is what this tactic does so well. So you'll see possibly Bernardo Silva pick up the ball right out here on the wing, but instead of trying to run and skill past number 3, he could drop into this pocket of space and play it back into Gundogan, and that's what you see a lot in this team, and it's just a complete different approach of football. And I think that's why Man City have, not got away, because it sounds like they're a bailout, but that's why they've been able to play and achieve so much without an actual striker all the time, because that's why you see also a lot of different players scoring the goals, because they all make runs as a striker would, because they all sort of just... Basically, the positional play is the best I've ever seen. It is really good, the positional play. But let's get into the game and break it down. So, it's Gundogan with the ball here. Obviously, tons of options on the ball here. There's always an option to play in. He goes into Rodrigo. Grealish in tons of space there. Grealish waiting for a pass, can't see it, so he plays it safe. As I will say, this tactic is predominantly short passing. If there is going to be an over-the-top ball, you might see one of the midfielders do it because they're not all told to play it short. But most of the style is going to be purely short passing. Gundogan back into Rodrigo, nothing silly, into Haaland, waiting for a pass, gets it into Grealish. He's waiting for a pass back into Foden. Look at Foden here, obviously. Instead of running on, he's just dropped back to, guarantee a pass. He's got the ball, plays one ball over into Haaland, and that is what I mean. Unfortunately, he does miss there. But if there is a clear run, they will play it. It's not going to be to the point where it's not overkill with the short passing. If there is an option where they can go long with it, if there is a really good run, one of your midfield players will do it. That is one thing I will say. So don't feel like just because of short passing, it's going to cost you chances, because it won't. But João Cancelo here then with the ball. Grealish is coming quite close. Is he going to use him? He goes long into Foden. He plays it back into Cancelo. Options in the midfield. He actually goes with it, running with it, carries on, and bam, 1-0 against Tottenham. And obviously, that is the beauty of having one of the best fullbacks in the world on your team. A player that I can't promise, just because this is a tactic, I can't promise your fullback is going to have the ability to do that. But obviously, if you have got a good fullback with decent shooting, it is definitely a possibility. So another bit of play here. Grealish into Rodrigo, just waiting for that pass to open up. Gundogan here. He's got quite a few options, obviously. He's got one here. He's got one here. He could even play it into Haaland if he gets the pass off quick. Where does he go to then? He plays it over to just about Bernardo Silva, who gets into some space here. Now, instead of crossing the ball in here, he actually cuts it back into Gundogan, who plays it back into Bernardo Silva, into Rodrigo, always the option. Walker pushes in there, into Haaland, who plays a zip-zip 1-2, back into Haaland, or actually Bernardo Silva, sorry. And what I want you guys to see there is, if we actually, I don't know if we can rewind this slightly, I want to point this out. So when Gundogan gets it, let's watch number 20 here, because this is what I mean by about zipping, like coming in and then coming out. So Bernardo Silva, obviously, comes back in there a little bit, into Rodrigo, and if we watch him, Bernardo is highlighted here. Just watch him. He always stays alert, and when he realises there is a run behind, he will happily be a wide winger again. And that is where the play comes from. So obviously he's stuck there to number 3, and as soon as he's seen, there is possibly an option on. Look, as soon as Grealish gets the ball here, actually, Bernardo Silva has got a clear path there. And yes, it could have gone to Haaland, but Bernardo, I think the pass was just a bit overhit for Haaland. So Bernardo Silva is there to tuck it in. And there we go. What a goal that is. And that's what I mean. Players are very, very useful in this because although they play out wide, they will also come in to go back out wide. It's not purely just a winger. So there's a lot of chances that you can create using this system. There really is. Actually, a set piece here, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But the ball does come out wide here. Laporte again, loads of options. We've got so many people around. Rodrigo playing it short there into Ruben Diaz. He plays a little bit back there to Walker, a little bit negative. Back into Laporte. Again, tons of options. Grealish again into Haaland. And look at number 47 there instantly. Obviously, he cuts in a little bit, cuts inside. And that has opened up an absolute load of space for him to run in behind. And unfortunately, I think he just makes a hash of it, sorry. But that just shows that because then players do cut inside a little bit, there's so many options, so many passes that can be played. There is going to be a set piece here again, which doesn't look like it comes from a goal. Comes out wide again. Gundogan will pick it up on the edge, though. Again, it's a bit isolated here, but then Grealish will drop back into that midfield, get the ball back. Laporte there with the ball. Foden is there if needed. Okay, nothing comes out. That's very strange. Ball into the box, which could end... I think this leads to a goal, actually, with this one. But Rodrigo here with the ball into Walker. And if we just look here, I mean, you've got Sterling, who obviously is a wide player here, but you've got Diaz, who obviously... He does push up occasionally. He's not instructed to do so. But to be honest, when you've got players that do have that sort of in their instinct, it's not a big issue because... Like I said, you rarely concede with this formation either. It's a really balanced formation, and that is one thing I will say. But again, the options are endless here. You've got Rodrigo with the ball, Sterling looking to play that sort of 1-2, bit of a delayed 1-2. I don't know if Rodrigo's going to use it. He goes into Walker, who's got acres of space, who plays a ball zip right into Foden, and he finally gets his goal to make it 3-0. But I hope I sort of broke it down there and sort of shown you, obviously that was a lot more of that was showing you how the goals are created. But one thing I want to get across and make sure is clear is that basically when your players have the ball in midfield, there's always going to be an option, right? Because as I said, if we pull this back to pretty much the start of the game, I'm just going to quickly go through this again. So you've got your three in midfield here, right? If a ball goes out to a wide player, in this system, they're not probably going to run down here and try and whip a ball in. They'll drop back into a pocket of space, sort of, get around here, get in this pocket. And these midfielders are, told to push up and always be an option. So that is why this tactic holds the ball so well, because the positional play is the factor, it's the key. And that is the thing that wins you games. And at the end of the day, it's worked for Pep for absolutely years. And that's why I genuinely think Man City have been so good without a striker, because everyone can get a goal and everyone does make these runs. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they actually adapt with a full-on striker, because he is going to be a bit more selfish and he is going to want the ball played into him, and it might change the way that they play, but we'll have to see. And, hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, because obviously they are on a bit of a spree at the moment. But let's get into the tactic now. We'll do a full breakdown, go over the tactic, go over player roles. And yeah, if you guys, as always, want to use this tactic, you don't have to copy it click for click. It's going to be in the description. So please do, just go to the description, download it. Before you do that though, guys, do leave a like on the video if you are enjoying it. And if you are enjoying this 2D sort of breakdown as well. But let's break down this tactic. So this is it. Daly's Guardiola. You can rename it to whatever you want. Obviously, you guys know how to do that. But the mentality is set to positive. In possession, we've got extremely wide. Pass into space, play out with defence, obviously, because that is how Man City play. Pretty straightforward. Much shorter on the pass and directness and a lower tempo. I felt like a much lower was too low, so definitely lower for that one. Be more expressive. Low crosses into the final third. Nothing selected here. I figured with work ball into the box, you simply... There's going for the perfect goal and there's going for the perfect goal. I feel like when that was ticked on, that was selected, there just wasn't enough chances being created. So I would not advise having that on, and just be more expressive on for that one. In transition, we've got counter press. When the possession's been won, nothing's selected on this, because we don't want to counter and we don't want to hold the shape, because obviously players are meant to sort of drift in and out. So nothing selected when it comes to that. Nothing selected for the goalkeeper in possession either. Distribute to the centre-backs, because obviously, it's been in Man City's DNA for years now. Always play through the centre-backs. That's why, all these years ago, they went in for someone like John Stones, because he's a great centre-back. playing the ball out. That's exactly why they went for him. Take short kicks. Obviously, you don't want to be going long with it. You want Ederson to simply play it into a centre-back, and they progress it up the pitch. Out of possession, we've got a use offside trap, a higher defensive line, a much higher line of engagement, force opposition outside, use tighter marking. We've got trigger press on much more often, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. Again, I will say that this tactic will pick you up the occasional booking, because that is exactly how Pep plays. You will see him take tactical fouls, and I'm not against that at all. If we go in then, so let's go over the positions first. So I'm going to start with a sweeper keeper, and that is going to be on the support role. He's got shorter passing on, because I never want to see Ederson hit it long. I never want him to see him do it. Unless he's in a panic situation, I always want him to play it short. If the centre-backs aren't on for some reason, play it to a fullback. Do not go long with the ball. Moving on to the right-hand side then, which is a fullback on the automatic role. Obviously, automatic basically means that they do a bit of both, which is exactly what I want to be seeing. Bit narrower on, shorter passing on this, because I don't want them lumping balls into the box from the byline or anything like that. Because obviously, the fullbacks are sort of, they do get involved in this tactic, but they're definitely not as influential as like a Klopp sort of system, where the fullbacks are sort of, get the ball into the box type of thing, because they are incredible at doing that. But sit narrower selected on him. Going over to the left-hand side is going to be the same. We've got sit narrower, shorter passing, automatic roll, trigger press on balance. Nothing too special with them. Now, in this system, you want two ball-playing centre-backs, both on exactly the same, both on defend. You want them on balance, trigger press, shorter passing, and nothing else selected. They don't need to stay wider, because we've got fullbacks as it is, and we don't want them to dribble more, because then they're going to get caught too far up the pitch, and sometimes your defenders will get a little bit, hot-headed and go up anyway, so you don't need to tell them to do that, because they already will. Going over then to the DM, which is going to be on balance. We've got him on shorter passing, take fewer risks, because this is the player in the team, which is the glue. You don't want him going too far up the pitch at the end of the day. This is going to be your sort of Fernandinho, or whoever you sign to replace him. Obviously, Calvin Phillips will be in the team next season. But yeah, we don't want this guy getting too involved when it comes to attacking. He's sort of just like the guy that will receive the ball from these two. We then have two centre mids, one on support. Be sure you copy these exactly, because you do not want two on support. You don't want one on attack. You don't want two on support or two on attack. You want one support, one attack. Right hand side on the support role, we have got him on shorter passing, roam from position, balanced with the trigger press, tackle harder, because again, as I always say, you will pick up the occasional booking, because they are told that they can tackle a little bit harder. Moving on to the left hand side, which is the attacking one. We've got this is where I'll say, so this is perfect for like a De Bruyne player, because he has got the passing range. So if you have it on standard, you will occasionally see the long ball played, and that is really good, because these players will make some great runs, and it's a waste if you don't let you don't let a player occasionally hit a long ball. Balanced on the trigger press, move into channels, sit further forward is selected, dribble more and take more risks on him. He's definitely the most attacking midfielder. We then have two wide attacking or advanced playmakers, both on the support role, and we've got them on less often on the press, stay wider. We've got them on cut inside, because again, that means they will stay wide, but then when they have the ball, they will come inside with it, and that is where this zip Tiki Taka 1-2 play starts, because they cut inside with it. They can then play to the midfielders with ease, because they're there, and you hold the ball so well. Standard on the pass and directness, and that is it for him. Going on to the right hand side, it is exactly the same, guys. Nothing too special. Stay wider, cut inside, standard with the directness, and nothing else is selected. Trigger press is on less often, and basically with these two, they do look like wingers, but they will, I'm not going to move him fully, but they will sort of, when they get the ball, they will drop into sort of here, which obviously is very close to the centre mid. Sometimes they'll drop even into here. They'll play central. So, I mean, it's not an all out there, winger where they're going to be tricky in all of this, because it's not built around that at the end of the day. And then the last position, which obviously was in this save, Erling Haaland, is going to be a false nine. Obviously, he's a player which gets involved heavily when it comes to linking up passes in the midfield, and also to the wide players. We've got the trigger press on less often, move into channel, shorter passing. On this one, I don't tell him to shoot more often. As you can see, it's not needed. He got an absolute crap ton of goals anyway, so it's definitely not needed in this system. And I feel like it would affect it negatively if you did have it selected. But that is going to be the entire tactic broke down, guys. It is a sensational tactic and a tactic I definitely recommend that you use. If you have enjoyed this, guys, please do leave the video a like. It means a lot. It helps the video get discovered, helps get new people into the channel. And, you know, it's just a really good way of supporting the channel. And if you want to go one step further, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more tactics, rebuilds, experiments, let's plays, live streams. We've got a wide selection of content going on over here. And yeah, that is going to be it for today, guys. But I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.